Welcome to Drinking Bros, presented by GhostBed.com.
Yeah, welcome to Drinkin' Bros. Kids, I love these Friday afternoon episodes. Daddy gets his beak wet here, and they typically turn out wild. Now, our guest today has been arguably what? Top 5 wildest episodes we've ever had every single time. Rudy Reyes is here.
Thank you, brother.
Welcome
Ross,
to
Dan,
the show. My God, man. First of all, beautiful every time I see you, jacked every time I see you, and usually at some point during the show, the shirt comes off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've only got 2 buttons.
Yeah, I know it's coming. I just don't know when we're going to lose the shirt. But I know it's coming off.
okay.
In the meantime, congratulations on your show. Here's the crazy part. So I follow you on Instagram and everything else. You guys were kind of tight-lipped about what was going on with Special Forces, World's Toughest Test on Fox. And I didn't know what your involvement was, what level it was going to be. And I ended up watching it with my kids, which I love because I got kids now, and I don't think you've been on the show in maybe 2 or 3 years at this point. So my kids are old enough, and they're starting to watch all this stuff. And then, holy shit, Rudy Reyes is on my screen, and there you are with a bunch of celebrities. You were in the first episode I saw. You were dropping a Humvee in the water with these guys, and then timing them to see how long they could last underwater. But they also had to release their seatbelt to get out.
Yeah, this is a test that I think all Marine Corps does, right? Like you get thrown into the water with your gear on and shit, and you have to take it off and then come back up.
It's a variation of the helo dunker that any amphibious unit has to qualify on before going onto the ship on the Marine Expeditionary Unit. And you have to qualify, keeping your head together. Except in the helo dunker, we do blacked out goggles. So you have to use
just sensory,
points of reference, and you rehearse it, and then you make your way out the clamshell or go out the front. So it's a variation of that. And as you know, anytime you're doing any kind of work around water and you're in a vehicle, you have to be prepared if it goes in the water, how to get out. So yeah, that's a really good tasker. It teaches calmness under stress, following simple instructions, and quieting down the fear that comes into your mind and into your heart when you're under immense stress.
Or before you even get in. So when I watched it, I believe it was Nastia Lukin.
Yes, the gymnast.
The gymnast, yeah. With a very small forehead. Kidding. It's been a running joke on the show. But,
really?
Yeah. Her forehead's been a huge joke in the show
Oh,
for years.
my goodness gracious. I had no
love
idea.
her.
Shut your mouth. She's perfect.
Her. I know you. I know
She
Bob.
did really good on the Postman's Walk.
She did.
Only 3 made it across the chasm.
But that's why. She's a world-class gymnast.
I hear you.
She won the gold, right, Bob?
She won some golds.
Yes.
Because they won, that team won the gold, and then her
She
and
won
Sean,
some individuals.
Yeah.
I heard she had a gold tooth.
She might have at one point. Who knows?
She can whatever. She's perfect.
Not in the front, it's in the side.
Exactly.
Bridge work.
Gangster. Yeah.
Filling.
Either gangster or bridge work. That's a great show we should do.
Holy
Is this
shit.
guy a gangster? Is it bridge work? But with that, I'm watching and I'm sucked in immediately.
It's a
and I was
good
like,
program.
oh shit. This show's going to be huge, dude.
Yeah, brother.
And then it exploded.
The one thing I can't figure
Tell me,
out
Dan.
so far is how Remy had time to do any of this shit, because he's got so many other projects going
He is
on all the
working
time.
so hard.
Like, he's got 2 movies in development.
Yeah,
right now.
Remy Adelecki's got a holding deal, and ever since he worked with Michael Bay on Transformers, and he's leveraged and showed up as his best always. Now he writes with Michael Bay. He does some acting. He's really excited about his production work. And as you all know, being in the entertainment business, from talent to the next step up to production, that is the metric in how to scale your business. Even myself, my brother, it's so interesting. I turned 51 December 3rd, I'm 51. And I say I got about 10 more years as an action hero. And of course, there's like, fuck, that's 61 years old. Yeah, I could do it. But
if anybody could do it, you can do it.
I mean, Sly's still doing it.
For
in
real.
the
Yes,
70s.
exactly.
You're jacked as shit, dude.
Thanks,
I mean,
brother.
It's nuts,
Thanks, brother.
man.
Well, 10 years still is not long. So I'm saying to myself, with my young wife, Jade, and we want to have a child eventually. I have 2 other little children. How do I scale Rudy Reyes. And I've learned a lot from Remy. I've learned a lot from Remy, so I've
He's
got
doing
my
a
own.
good job, yeah.
Yeah, I've got my own production company. We're doing our thing, and Remy's an incredible mentor in that way. He's rad. I mean, the team. Let's not forget freaking Billy Billingham. 10 years in the British Paras, 22 years SAS. POW twice, chopped his way out of the IRA in Ireland, chopped his way out of Bosnia.
Yeah.
Command Sergeant Major of freaking SAS. Brad and Angelina's bodyguard. This cat has been there, done that, brother. He is magnificent. And then Foxy, the supersized Rudy Reyes of the UK, the most reluctant sex symbol in the world, and the women love the man. And I love him too. He's my brother. He had a little PTS when he got out. SBS guys, Special Boat Service, Royal Marine Commando. He decided, well, I'll just row it out. So he just rowed from England to South America.
Really?
Yeah, you know.
What's that, about a 2-hour tour? What would you
These
say?
guys, brother, I think it's more like 2 months or something. But the lineup's magnificent. Trust the brothers. American audience, most of them don't know this, but this has been a very successful show in the UK.
So that's what I heard. And when I was kind of doing my research on it after I watched the first episode, I was like, oh shit, I didn't know that was over there. Why hadn't they done that in America yet? Especially with all the personalities in Special Forces and everything else. You were obviously the perfect guy for this.
Well, all the good ones start over there.
Yeah, brother.
Who wants to
Why
be
is that?
Who wants to be a millionaire? Fucking America's Got Talent was England has talent.
Right.
Love Island.
But with the
I don't know about
military,
that one.
here's the thing. And maybe this is me because I'm not military, but for me, I don't think of Britain's great military. Like, that should be a show that should have started here.
Let me tell you
ahead.
a real quick story about Tier 1 operators in the United States.
Okay.
They didn't exist before Colonel Charlie Beckwith left his Special Forces unit to go over with the 22nd SAS for 2 years. And then
Shit.
He petitioned Congress 2 separate times. It took him 2 separate times going through all this stuff to get Delta Force made. You know what I mean?
Why?
But we took that from them.
We did. So why didn't we have that to begin with, I guess?
It's a good question. Myopia, probably. We were so entrenched in the Cold War that we weren't looking forward to the possibility of terrorism. And that's the job of Tier 1 operators is counterterrorism. That's their primary
They're
role.
at a strategic level, as many of us. At my level, I was at the tactical level. I mean, I'm a commando, but I was at the tactical level.
Yeah, same. We're just running out there fucking shit up.
Yeah,
Jumping
yeah.
out of planes, kicking people in the face and whatever.
Yes.
These guys they're like airplane takedowns and things like that.
They're the British are
Specialized.
the best at being clever. All the spying that the Allies won in World War II, that's the Brits.
Yes,
yeah, Israeli intelligence is based on MI6.
They're great too.
MI5 and 6.
Why Israel and the UK, from my observation and me working with these cats for so long, why they excel in the human and the intel world and the subterfuge world? They are smaller countries and they do not have the mass and the strength, both with logistics and manpower. So they must be clever.
Yeah.
They must be so surgical. And I recommend all of you to check out, I think it's on Netflix, Rogue Heroes, the story of how the SAS was born. And yes, brother, our American brother, what's the book? A pararescueman. His name's R.J. Casey. He did all the ops and tactical advising on the latest Jack Ryan.
Okay.
He was a Green Beret and a Ranger first, and now pararescue officer, legend cat. He doesn't age like me. I think he's 55. He looks fantastic. He handed me this tattered book, Dan, and it was by that American captain, or maybe he was a major, and it starts in World War II. It's the same gentleman you were telling me about, where he worked for the Brits from OSS.
You talking about Charlie Beckwith?
Yes.
Yeah, he's the founder of Delta Force.
He handed me this tattered book. The cover was coming off. It goes back to World War II and the Cold War, where our bond across the pond. After all, we are the outgrowth of the UK culture and the UK financial system as well, military system. Look, our flags are the same colors, and that's for a reason. So, yeah. Anyway, SAS Who Dares Wins. It's on Amazon Prime. I'll tell you what, American audience, it goes to 11. The American production, and it's a British production, by the way. Our American production is British as well.
Oh, gotcha. So they brought over the whole team?
Yes, the British do better TV. It's out of the BBC combine, if you will. Super professional TV people out there. They make the best freaking TV.
Yeah, they do.
There's no limits. There's no censorship with cursing. And it's much more physically demanding. However, I believe this American show, as it's going forward, will get there.
Well, the other part about it, from a Hollywood perspective, is once I saw the format and how well it worked, all I kept thinking was, are they going to take you guys to other countries and syndicate this around the world?
Of course.
Because this could be like your Fear Factor, where it's just endless money and you're the dude.
Of course. And somebody mentioned something about Fear Factor. The thing about Fear Factor is there's craft service, there's air conditioning.
Yeah.
It's showbiz. When we run our course, we're on course. You're in a GP tent, you're fucking eating MREs, you're bathing and shitting together. You're struggling together. And the environment is so fucking punishing. I just got back from 2 months straight in Vietnam.
No shit.
Yeah.
Who did you find out from this cast who surprised you with their toughness, I guess?
Yeah.
It has to be Hannah Brown. Yeah. Even though I
love Hannah Brown.
She won, right?
Yes.
Bachelor, dude, yeah.
Number one freaking benefit or the strongest element you can bring, great attitude.
Well,
she had a great attitude, and every time even when she failed, she did not let the tears last long, immediately got up to go again.
You can only control 2 things in life, your attitude and your effort, right?
That's it, brother. You nailed it. That was it. And I love my Danny Amendola.
Yeah.
He's
ahead of the game a bit because he's a legit professional athlete.
Wide receiver, Super Bowl champion.
I think 3 times.
Oh, yeah.
Danny.
He's a stud.
Wanted to be one of us. And then football opened up for him. And he was like the last stage draft pick. I don't follow the intimacies of football and the ball sports much. I'm most into the martial art.
He worked his ass off to get where he was.
Yes,
so him doing well on the show wasn't surprising because that's what he did in real life.
Yes.
What were we going to say, Bob? Go ahead.
I would say he was kind of like poor man's Wes Welker afterwards. He was drafted in...
Undrafted.
Undrafted.
What does that mean?
It means he didn't get drafted. He signed as a free agent with the team, which means he showed up to somebody's camp and they were really impressed with him.
Used his own money to
His work
get there.
ethic. Really, his work ethic and his commitment was magnificent. His shoulder and his body was already beat up, and he did not let us know. But after a little while, like a 3rd or 4th day bee stings, I'm noticing he's favoring his shoulder on push-ups. He was injured so bad from the NFL, and then the stresses of constant freaking martial arts and boxing and swimming and everything, it just flared up so bad. It was the last day before he goes into POW, into SEER, and I pull him aside. I'm like, listen, motherfucker, fucking go all the way, man, all right? I know you're fucking hurting, but this will end. Just don't fucking give up, But the pain, when you're in your head and you're snatched up and you're put in a box and all you're hearing is babies crying and screaming and you never know when it's going to end, and you got interrogators slamming you around and throwing water in your face. The purgatory in your mind works on you, and I think it just made everything hurt so bad. And so he couldn't take even holding his arm up anymore.
Right.
So anyway, I love the man. Kenya Moore. The freaking meanest, most sadistic, most backstabbing black lady on Mother Frappin' Real Housewives of Atlanta, Hotlanta. I don't even watch the show or nothing, but every commercial I've ever seen for the last 8 years is her on there freaking beating somebody up or whatever. The most lovely human being.
Really?
The hardest worker. Continuous great attitude, and she was there to be her real self. I adore that woman, Kenya Moore.
How about Mike Piazza? There we go. Now we're
talking. Piazza, Matty. Piazza. He brought in all of his freaking super rad Italian brothers to my Force Blue event. And they might have mob ties. I don't know, but these people were the freaking sweetest, best, and loved America so much. Piazza physically was out of his depth pretty soon because he's older and beat up. His fatherly like attitude and his team communication kept this course on course. He was magnificent. Adore him.
What about the guy who was kind of a dick? He was an Olympic athlete. Was he a gymnast as well?
Stunt skier.
That's it.
Gus.
That's it. Yes.
Gus. You know what?
What's Gus's story in real life?
Really good athlete, very mentally tough, and gay. So I think some of the toughness comes from him hiding being gay and then coming out being gay, saying, fuck, I represent in a physical and dangerous sport, and I'm willing to show that this is who I really am. So he's got a chip on his shoulder. I'm from a boys' home. I grew up very poor. And a
little gay.
Yeah, well, I am fabulous. Hello. And so I always had a chip on my shoulder too, because I grew up very tough from the border of Texas and Mexico and in Missouri. So I understand that. But incredible effort. What happened is that we were thrashing him. And we were in Jordan. Some kind of bacterial infection got in him.
Like MRSA or some shit? What was it?
Brother,
gut stuff. What was it?
Gut stuff. He shut down quickly, like in a half an hour.
Oh, wow.
And then he's to his knees, and now he's projectile vomiting, and now his heart rate's going through the roof. We're having to hit him with freaking meds and IVs, and then had to get him out of there. Magnificent. True competitor. Tough guy.
Was there anybody that you didn't like off screen?
To be honest, I didn't like Nastia.
Okay. What was it about her that she wasn't willing to put forth the effort and some of the challenges? Yeah.
Yes, I have to do this tactical questioning. We bring in the recruits, and then and brothers, we don't get a dossier on any of these people. I know who some of them are. Scary Spice, she's a wild woman too.
Her real life story is even more amazing.
Oh, brother, we had to edit out her freaking 7 personalities that were on that damn thing. I mean, there wasn't enough time in the day for every personality that was out there. So we get to know these recruits on their effort and on their character. Nastia refused to be violent and aggressive. And I said, I know we can curse here.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you thinking? You're coming on a military select. Do you know all we do is break shit and kill people? Motherfucker.
What did she think it was going to be?
I think, in a good way, she just wanted to challenge herself.
Okay.
And but when the reality is that you have to smash people in the face and you have to fight and you have to be aggressive. And that also means that no one person can do it on their own. You have to connect to your team. She had a very big difficulty doing that. I imagine being a gymnast, it's a very individual sport. See, Danny and Piazza excelled. Team, yeah. You get what I'm saying?
And they were both leaders on their teams.
Yeah.
He was the leader of the Dodgers, and Amendola and Brady were super tight for years.
So it made sense. And at first, Nastia was doing very good on the challenges, and when it came to the milling, and it came to the MMA and the Red Man, which I'm the Red Man, did not possess a bit of aggression. And by the way, before I joined the Marine Corps, and I was competing and fighting in Sanshao. I'd been doing martial art and wrestling my whole life and some football. I did these things to be a strong man, not because I wanted to kill anybody, not because I wanted to bully anybody or dominate anybody, but I know that this is essential to face fear and to overcome. And when I joined the Marine Corps, I was saddened with the dehumanization that I had to go through to become a killer. And I was scared at one point when I went to Scout Sniper School, and I was the number one in the class, and I got to this stage where we're showing terminal ballistics, and this is in the 90s, of targets and enemies' heads coming apart in slow motion. I was crying like inside, like the fucking savagery of turning people into meat, However, I'm in the Marine Corps. and I signed a contract, and there's a price you pay for the wisdom of being a warrior. And that means it's not a part-time commitment. It's all the way through. So I had to do the same. I was disappointed that she was not able to cross that boundary.
Some people just aren't built like that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's, you have, you've got your patents and you got everybody else, right? Well, what did he say? A good plan executed violently now is better than a great plan next week.
That's right,
or
brother.
a perfect plan next week, I guess.
That's right, brother.
Yeah. And with her, celebrities in general, I guess, you're never going to know what their reasoning is for being there, whether it's a little more fame on television or to test themselves or all of that. And as you continue, you'll probably have more of the answers as you keep going.
And we found that out. And we found that out too, brother, because trust me, the cats on the show, the recruits that didn't want to be there because there's something greater than they've ever imagined possible, they found their way out.
Yeah.
They found their way out. You have to want it so bad that it's biblical. It's like it's almost a theologist type of path. You're reaching for God. You don't even know who you are anymore. You're so tired. You're in so much pain. And in this modern world, no phones or communication. In our old day, I mean, we didn't make no money to have no dang flip phone, cell phone. I think I got a cell phone after I was a sergeant, been in 6 years, and I had the cash so that my wife at the time had a phone like that. There was no constant communication. When the towers were hit, I was heading to the Persian Gulf on the flotilla on the Mew. I went straight into fight in Pakistan, Afghanistan. Due to the nature of the war on terror at that time, we went to go take Kandahar. There was no communication with back home for months and months and months. So for these civilians / celebrities, I do respect that they were able to put all that aside because it was hard on them. You saw the mothers crying about their kids all the time, things that I'd never considered because we had properly been conditioned to compartmentalize that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, that's not an easy thing to learn, and it's even harder to unlearn that
Well
when you
said.
get back.
Well said.
And especially for a celebrity.
Here, what I don't understand, and this is legit, I don't understand how tactical cops, like SWAT guys, do that. I don't understand how they go do violence 2 or 3 times a week and then just go right back home to their wife and kids.
Very, very difficult.
I could not do that.
10 miles down the road.
Yeah.
Where you're just like, hey, I'm going home and I live right there.
Because once I get up to 11, I'm at 11 for the foreseeable future until something happens to bring me back down. And that means like casual conversations and how's your day and me being kind. That's not happening.
It's got to be so difficult. Jade, my missus, her mother is like the highest ranking firefighter in LA County. And her dad was a cop and a veteran. Her mother's still active, man, rocking and rolling. It's taking a toll on her. It takes a toll on our front lines here. I was getting on the plane yesterday, brother, from Atlanta to come here to Austin, and I'm going down the aisle, and there's an older lady with a sheriff pullover on, and I touched her badge right there, and I said, "Thank you for your service," and she was like, "Oh." I said, not many people know about that. And I said, you guys are front lines. And I was wearing my Marine Corps blouse. And she says, well, you guys are front lines. I said, well, we both are. So thank you for your service.
Yeah,
I respect them immensely. We don't respect them immensely.
We very rarely have to mix the two.
Yes, exactly. It's got to be so difficult.
Yeah. Like I know how hard it is to ramp up like that and then go fight for a while and be absent and then come back and try to figure out how to ramp back down. For most of it, it takes about half a decade to be honest.
Yeah, brother. No, absolutely. Absolutely.
Like going to do that shit, even EMS and shit, going to see fucking meat sacks split open on the fucking side of the road and then going home to your kids. How the fuck do you do that?
No idea. No idea. Scary Spice, I got to ask. I have to ask, only because, do you know her backstory and how crazy it is?
I only saw what I saw there, and it was pandemonium in the ring. Somehow, I don't know how she did it. She smuggled in some cigarettes. I think she was doing drug deals with the damn drivers, my Jordanian brothers. Hisham, if you see this show, I love you, dog. The lion is here.
Jordan is the best country in the
Isn't
Middle East,
it wonderful? And the King Abdullah, thank you for all your hospitality. They treated us so good. They took me to the castle. Billy, myself, Foxy, Remy. he
King can shoot, huh?
Oh, he could shoot. He brought me.
fucking shoot,
He brought
dude.
me out his weapons,
Yeah.
and we were just kicking it. And he says, "And Rudy, you're Mexican. I brought my chef in from L.A. To make proper Mexican food. I gotta tell you, the best Mexican food I've ever had in my life was in Acuba, Jordan.
Shut the fuck up.
For real. For real.
So all the videos we see about that guy online, it's all legit.
Legend.
Yeah.
Legend.
And not just that, but his leadership throughout that
Yes.
country. They have the best. Other than Israel, it's certainly the best intelligence service in the
Very
area.
much so. Very much so.
Better than the general directorate in Saudi Arabia. They're fucking terrible.
Yeah.
And so inclusive. One of my producers is a German Jew gay man. It's
a lot to unpack, Rudy.
And you know what? He loved him too. Christians, Jews,
They don't care.
whoever. If you are pro freedom and you're American or from the UK, the King's got your back. You're really wonderful people.
Now back to Scary Spice.
Okay, Scary Spice. So she
Gotta know-
smuggled in
wait,
some
hang on.
freaking cigarettes. She
Hang
was
on.
tripping.
But so before she gets there, okay,
Yeah.
do you know the crazy divorce story with her?
No.
Oh, it's wild as shit. We're going to get
Okay.
into it.
With her and Eddie Murphy?
No.
I
got a
heard
kid
about
with him.
Eddie Murphy. I had no idea that she was with Eddie Murphy,
With
brother.
Eddie Murphy.
I
So
think the Maitland, dark-skinned
Harry
gentleman.
Belafonte Jr., I believe, was her husband. Now,
Was he as handsome as Senior?
no.
Okay.
No.
Because, boy, that
It
Senior
looked
is
like
handsome.
It looked like a little jankier version, but here's the wild shit.
Okay,
so
bring it, brother.
They had a nanny. Now, they were each fucking the nanny, and they were having a swingers thing with the nanny.
Wait a second. Wait a second. Dad and the son were with the nanny?
No. Husband, and then Scary. Scary was the wife.
Yeah,
okay?
that'll give you PTSD.
Well, hang on. So they had a thing where they were swinging with the nanny, and they were each fucking the nanny and all this other stuff. But the rule was you can't fuck the nanny without me in the room. And she came home, and he was plowing the nanny. So this goes to some crazy divorce. The nanny gets involved, and it became a huge, huge story on TMZ for months.
Oh, my goodness.
And
brother.
they had to kind of figure it all out. But when I read it, I was like, holy shit.
And Ross, when did this go down?
This was, Bob, look it up. I think they finally got divorced maybe 2
2017.
years ago. Or
2017,
Okay.
they got divorced.
Okay.
Holy
This
smokes.
is him here. He's
That's him, Bob. If you want to put a picture up of Scary and her husband, that'd be rad. And so the
Yeah.
nanny was hot, and they had a perfect setup, but I had no idea of watching the Spice Girls all these years that Scary Spice was the one who was the freaky one. And I was like, holy shit. Did any of that go down on set? Because
that's the nanny.
right there, yeah. Pop up the couple
Yeah, put
there,
up the
Bob.
nanny.
The nanny-
Looks like Paris Hilton.
She's quite a bit hotter than Mel B, that's for sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, her ex-husband had
Oh, they
pretty
got it. Yeah,
eyes.
show a picture of the nanny. Let's see the nanny.
Yeah, do the nanny, my man.
Yeah,
Well,
because
go.
I don't know which they look kind of similar to be honest.
they
No,
do.
that's not her.
Racist.
That's not
the
her.
nanny's
I mean,
blonde.
I don't give a shit.
Yeah,
The nanny's
the
white. and
nanny's a white
blonde.
woman.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's a white woman.
She's blonde.
Type in scary.
No, Bob,
Spice.
stop what you're doing.
Yeah,
put
get
that
off of
picture
there.
of them up first. Let's see. It's his name's Stephen Belafonte.
Yeah.
Not Harry Jr.
Oh, it's not Harry Jr. All
But
right.
I feel you, brother.
Whatever.
But that's them too.
It's a good pick of him, though. By the
He's-
way,
yeah,
it's
he's-
generous.
Beautiful
It's a
eyes.
generous pick.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's not a horrible looking dude.
Yeah.
Now
It's a
type
generous
in nanny.
Scary Spice and nanny.
No, type in Stephen Belafonte nanny. It's Stephen with an A.
because we got to see the audience has got to.
I'm looking at
this
it right
woman.
now.
Yeah.
There she is.
Pop that
She
up. Bob.
did, in the tactical questioning, she alluded to all this.
Look at that.
Yeah, when we brought her in, and that she was, well, what she expressed to us is she was emotionally and physically abused. That's what she brought to us.
There was a picture of her physically abused. That was
Yeah, she got her face all fucked up by
like it
somebody at
was
some
bad.
point.
I
Is that
thought
the
she
two
was-
of them together?
Yeah.
Look at that. What a fun time. Why did he? So I asked this question on the show. Why would you fuck that up?
You get- all
if
you
you
gotta
had
do
this going on for years and years and years,
I think it's a recipe for disaster.
it sure is. But if you're him, why not stretch that out? I mean, my God, man.
I don't, brother. I wonder. Once you're so down deep into that nebulous black hole of strange relationship duties and hedonistic filth, I don't think there's any way out, dog. And it came across on her, brother. She was again 7 personalities.
You can say it or not
I don't
say
think
it, Rudy.
I can. I don't think I can because we have psychotherapists on set.
Oh, do you really?
We have to.
Oh, no shit.
Because of the nature of the work, and there's people divulge things and express things like abuse and physical, sexual abuse, or losing loved ones to suicide and such. And it can be very, of course, it's cathartic, but it can also be very painful. So just, again, it's the UK. They're quite smart people. We have therapists there. There was some problems and some heavy stuff that went to the therapist. And after that, there was no coming back. And so Mel B found herself leaving the course.
Gotcha. Okay. And we can leave it at that.
Yeah.
I don't need to dig
God bless her.
anymore. But this will lead me into something else
Sure.
we've chatted about on another show of ours with, my wife. She shot the last episode. We did. We all hang out together, had some drinks. She was like, God damn it, man. I love that Rudy Reyes.
Oh, you're kidding me.
No. And so when she knew you were coming on today, because she's got to do something with the kids, she was like, please tell him I love him and tell him what we talk about with Rudy Reyes.
Yeah.
Now, you're in Austin, Texas.
Yes, sir.
On It's here. Aubrey Marcus is here.
Oh, I love On It. I went there way back, maybe 6-7 years ago, and it was legend.
So I said, here's what we said. There's a certain type of dude who can enter that circle and then just go with all these people nonstop.
Yeah.
Men, women, whoever it is.
Oh, they're really high-end cross
here's the thing.
athletes, right?
But you're the same thing. You guys don't age. The two of you guys don't age. You're both jacked, ripped as shit.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, if there was a sexual revolution to happen, it's probably you and Aubrey Marcus who would be leading the. Aubrey's already doing it right now.
Is Aubrey Latino, a dark colored?
What is
cat?
he? It's hard to tell because he's always so tan where it's just like, are you outside every day? Or do you have something in you?
I think he's just a white dude.
You think he's just a white guy who's just
Yeah, he's
having a
white.
blast outside all the
he's
time, shirtless?
Awesome.
Yeah, he's also, his name's not Aubrey.
What's his real name?
I think it's like Mike or something.
he
Yeah,
named after
handsome
his-
man.
His
Okay,
dad's
handsome
name.
man.
Yeah, handsome man. He really is handsome man.
But he's been doing this shit with Aaron Rodgers and all this other crazy shit. And it's like, you guys seem like soulmates. Have you ever hung out with him?
I can't wait to hang with him. I've never met him, but I know of him through the human performance world. I bet you I'd love to hang with them.
The two of you guys are identical. And she was like, hey,
Man.
when he gets there, ask him about Aubrey. And I was like, I guarantee
I'd love
you guys
to
would
hang with them, train
run
and
in the
hang
same
and
circles.
and just talk training, which that's what I really go crazy for, right? Like I get crazy with talking training.
Seriously, and then go out to the desert, camp out for a little bit.
Joshua Tree, freaking climb at wintertime. We could do some freaking bouldering.
Yeah, maybe swing, do whatever. I mean, that's what I think
You know what?
goes
It's
down.
so wild, brother. I know, Jade runs my social media. And I get some weird dudes sending me messages. And the dudes are always way creepier than the women.
Yeah. They sure are,
boy.
Rudy. They sure are.
Oh, boy.
Because I'll see some of the comments on your Instagram,
Yeah.
and I'm like, holy shit, dude.
Yeah.
There's a lot of dudes that want to fuck Rudy.
It's a trip, isn't it? And, I guess, what, I can just think, I can just be thankful that at 51, that I'm still, still sexy, I guess.
What does your wife say?
You know what? She's crazy about me. I have body issues, ever since I got back from Vietnam. I think because I was so depleted, I got down to about 180, but I was 100% humidity, 100 degrees, and running the course nonstop. So 4 hours of sleep for 2 months. And so when I got home, all I want to do is eat and drink wine. And I gained some freaking weight. And finally, I guess my metabolism slowed. I've never dealt with this shit. Guys, I've always been very, very lean.
Yeah.
Triathlete and martial artist. And I'm like, honey, I feel really insecure about myself right now. Also, I need reading glasses now. And then, all right, are you guys ready for this? This is how much I freaking love you, and I got to tell the truth about what I'm going through. Okay, Mr. Sexy Recon dude, Call of Duty guy, freaking, uber freaking Latino male. I got a haircut the other day. Hold on.
it.
Oh my gosh.
What do we got here?
Now I already put black hair dye in the bald patches. I went to the super cuts, right? Oh my god.
Did you go to Sport Cuts?
Yes,
you
it was
go.
sports cuts.
Yes, I know it.
I look like Beetlejuice because I have a small head, and they Do you see what?
Yeah, they hacked it up, dude.
Oh my God! Look, I
can't go to a sports
Rudy,
cut.
let me help you,
you
buddy.
can't
Let
go
me
to a
help you.
sports
brother,
cut.
and
dude.
I got chunks missing, and so I was really down for the last 8-10 days. I called Matty DeMeo as well. I said, brother, I look like Beetlejuice. Simple Jack. I look like that. And Jade has been there. Honey, it's okay. I still think you're beautiful.
Yeah.
I love you, honey. And
You
you know
still
what?
got it. Man to
Thanks.
man, you still got it. You're good to go. I didn't even notice.
Thank you,
But I can
guys.
tell you and everybody else out there, if you're thinking about going to a sports clips, you're gonna
Don't
lose
do it. Don't
a
do
couple
it.
chunks of hair.
It's
the
so true.
sideburns are gonna be real short.
Yeah,
Chip
maybe
Jones.
don't get a haircut at a place that's partnered with NASCAR.
Yeah.
I
'cause
had
they
no
have the-
idea. I
they have
should
the
have
huge
known
screen
right there.
TV right in front of you.
You're right. It was sport cuts. And and I love where I live. I live in Lexington, South Carolina. It's real America. It's real down home folks. And between going to LA, New York, London for the big meetings, and then traveling the world for the work, I need to be in a place that's got some serenity. Now, the downside is like the highest end restaurant there is Chili's.
Yeah.
And so the good news is Jade and I have learned to cook a lot. Also, the hair people out there, they're not the same
Nope.
as any kind of sophisticated metroplex.
It's a shag, it's a high sideburn,
Yeah.
and it's a squared off
That's
back.
totally, it's a squared off blunt cut.
That's
bow.
it, dude. Yeah.
I hear you. Now, I've gotten spoiled, guys, now that I'm a star. I've gotten spoiled. Watch this. So, because I had slightly different looks with SAS in Vietnam, I had a beard. With Special Forces, I'm clean shaven except with a light stubble. Both haircuts a bit short. I still have one more video interview to do in which they green screen it so it makes it look like I'm back there.
Sure.
Because they have been doing the edit. I've got another series coming out in another 2 months.
Okay.
I just finished SAS series in tandem with Fox. So they bring out like specialty hairstylists.
Yeah.
When they drive me or fly me to the studio. They've got the freaking nice hairstylists. I've been living really nice lately, brothers. I mean, I only fly first class now. I'm very, very blessed. And I used to think, man, people that are living like that, they must, I hope they appreciate it. And if they don't, they're douchebags or what have you. Now, for the way I look at it for me, if it sustains me having a great attitude, because I just flew in late last night. The weather had me cutting squares up there before
Sure.
I got in. We show up here to do showbiz. We got to give everything we got. We got to be our best. So those kinds of privileges that I have now, and first of all, they're earned because I'm making channels millions and hundreds of millions of dollars. But those kinds of perks help me be my best.
Yeah.
So I would recommend any other brother and sister out there that's doing their entrepreneurship, that's pursuing the American dream. Know that the harder you pursue and reach towards your dream, the more it's moving towards you. And one day you'll be able to sustain yourself like this too. 51's not old anymore.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, get after it.
Yeah, because the other part of this is, once you get used to that lifestyle,
Oh
you
yeah,
don't want to go back.
Then I go to sport cuts.
And then you're in sport cuts, and it's like, hey.
Yeah, I called Matty DeMeo. I said, Matt, you're never going to believe what happened. And then Matt goes, how much was your haircut? I said, with the tip, it was like $28. Rudy, what are you doing? You know, Jersey, freaking Marine.
Oh, yeah.
You got to go to somebody. Somebody that at least $70. He's right. He's right. You're right, brother.
But it does help because once you're there, right, and you're
Yeah.
traveling first, you got somebody cutting your hair, doing your makeup.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, we all look better with a little powder.
Absolutely. I got it on now.
So do I.
I got it on now.
So do I. Bright lights, big city. Dan doesn't give a fuck.
You know.
But
I don't care.
he doesn't care.
Yeah.
But with that, as you keep going, as long as the ratings are good,
Yeah,
you
brother.
can maintain it and everything's
Yeah,
great.
brother.
And you do have to appreciate it because knowing one day it'll eventually be gone.
Of
and
course.
you can at least look back in those days and be like, holy shit.
Of course.
Life was fucking awesome.
Oh,
and I did
agree. I agree. It's the journey, man. It's absolutely freaking wonderful. I come from a very poor family, a broken home. My brothers and I grew up in foster care and boys' homes, and I'm able to provide some levity, some love, and a little bit of money to my family that they've never had before. And I love when Michael and Caesar get to go fly out to New York City, or I bring them out to L.A. And when our favorite freaking rock and roll bands come through, I was shooting.
Get sweet tickets.
Yeah. I was shooting in Vietnam, and the Cult came through Kansas City. I called up the lead singer. I adore Ian Astbury, my lead singer brother. And I said, dog, my family's there in KC. I'm in Vietnam. Could you get them some tickets? This is the freaking rock god, Ian Astbury. He gets them backstage. I mean, it just makes me feel so good. I'm sure they feel good about it. It makes me feel really good about it. So that's probably the best part of success, I bet.
Yeah, because the other part is what you're doing is actually extremely difficult. So it's not like you've been in movies and, obviously an HBO series and all that stuff. It's different, right? Because you go back to the hotel at the end of the night and everything else. But you guys are really out there with these fucking people living in the tents and doing all the shit again. So it's not like you're pampered.
Not at all.
On an HBO set.
Not at all. We insist on it because it has to be authentic. What makes this show so special, it's the truth of it all. No, there's no reshoots. There's no script. We run the course, and we use our human intelligence skills through tactical questioning, and of course, always observing and always taking notes. And we debrief every day. And at the very end, there's been series that I've done in the UK where we've had 4 or 5 that make it through SEER. Mm-hmm. And then we go to a debrief and we check every task, every beasting, every mirror room, and we go through it. And then we pick 1 or 2 because we're always watching, just like in Real Selection. So we got to be completely engaged. On Fox, this one is Special Forces. Our biggest, strongest dude, Jason Fox, SBS brother, biggest, strongest dude, 3 days into it, snaps his tib fib on that 400-foot freaking bomb rappel. The winds came up in Aqaba, snapped his leg, snap. Now we're a 3-man crew, Remy, Billy, myself, and we got to freaking keep this train on the tracks. And there was no sleep. It was just continuous movement and admin behind all the stuff we're doing in the field. Really, really wonderful. By the way, I think that's what I love about the show the most for me. I'm engaged, really engaged.
Have you guys thought about adding peer review to the formula?
There's a portion in that where we say, recruits, line up strongest to weakest. Mm-hmm. And we first, DS, directing staff, we line them up in our minds, write it down. And then we see how they line up, and then we write that down. And then we put them through a ball-busting freaking tasker. And it shakes out who is really who. And then they end up fighting amongst each other. And then from there, the next tasker is, who do you trust the most? Who do you trust the least? And then we either team them up on a freaking brakeman task off the cliff, or they're freaking boxing each other. It's really, really wonderful for revealing character.
Yeah, what's the reaction amongst them when they're hearing that somebody else is better than them?
Oh, some break down, some want to kill.
Yep.
Probably a lot of these, because this is celebrity. In the UK version, we do a civilian and then a celebrity. A lot of our celebrities in our culture, as you know, they're so exalted. It's been a long time since they carried their own bags. Or it's been a long time since they've had to cook their own food. Or it's been a long time since anybody actually got in their face and said, you know what, you don't cut the mustard. Matter of fact, you're this close to being freaking kicked off because you do not have any fucking character. They're like, holy shit. Or they get mad and want to bow up. And if you flash, that just reinforces everything we already noticed. Because you know what? Take it on board, learn from it, and freaking drive on.
Yeah, because with that, to your point, Dan, I think why that's so interesting, and it's only happened to me a couple times, and it was college professors who said, who do you think is the best in the class and who do you think is the worst? And in the 2 times that it happened, people freak the fuck out.
Oh, yeah? It's incredibly personal.
It is. And one time, there was one class that I was in, and they said, hey, who do you think is the best? Who do you think is the worst? And they were like, the professor just stopped at the end, and he goes, you're wrong. It's that person. They're going to be great. The rest of you are probably going to be mediocre, shitty the rest of your life.
Because there's a psychological point and a spiritual evolution there, too, that someone from wisdom, a professor or key leader or freaking small unit freaking leader or commander, they have that. And you're exactly right, brother.
I've seen people cry. Like I saw on the 2 occasions that it happened, I saw people cry. I saw people get angry about it. And then either somebody's going to change or rise to the top, or they're going to crumble.
Yeah.
And I think it's super important, but they just don't do that shit anymore. I mean, that was
It's
a long time ago.
It's so necessary for human development. And, you know, we're all men here. And I mostly speak about men's development because I can honestly, from my experience, share these things. It's necessary. Well, with hubris left unchecked, falling into adolescent narcissism. And I see 40 and 50-year-old guys stuck in that. Of course, 30 and 20-year-olds. But I understand a 20-year-old that's there. I don't understand a 40 and 50-year-old. And, you know, I work in the entertainment business. I mean, it's rampant. We need that tough love. We need that hard anvil.
I mean, everybody needs it. You know what? It's really important to know how good you are before you go into a fight.
Yes,
because if you're fucking delusional about it, you're going to get the shit kicked out of you, or in our situation, you're going to get killed.
Yeah, so have you guys seen that in real life where there was somebody weaker on your team and you're like, man, there's nothing I can do. That guy's going to get killed.
Not by the time they're us.
Well, I was in the 82nd Airborne. There aren't weak people there. There's not weak people in Marine Recon either. I mean, you got to be able to. You have to be at least physically fit. Now they're dummies, yeah.
The selection process itself and the leadership process itself either raises up the weak ones, which sometimes are not even weak guys. What they are is they're deficient somewhere.
Yeah, they just don't know.
But if you're weak in character, you find your way out.
Yeah, it's a self-selection because people quit or whatever.
Does that still go on to this day? Because with everything we see in the media and everybody getting butthurt about everything, you would think that that's eliminated at this point, just because, well, let's face it, somebody's going to get their feelings hurt and they're going to get pissed off about it. Yeah. But I think it should happen more, in my opinion, and it'll help people at least grow. Is that the case to this day or no?
I hope in our tier units they're still legit.
They're good. I don't like hazing for the sake of hazing.
Me neither.
Yeah.
It's demoralizing for people. Like, what do you think? You're better than me? This is a team.
Yeah.
And one of my first sergeants, Joe Singerhouse, used to say this all the time. You're here. You don't have to pay any additional entry to get here. You already volunteered twice for the Army and for the Airborne. You're fucking here.
Get some.
You know what I mean? So if you see a guy that's deficient, your job isn't to rough him up. It's to make him better.
Yep.
Because at the end of the day, what am I going to go to war with 2 fucking squared away dudes and 3 roughed up dudes that aren't on my team? We're all going to die.
Yep.
That's fucking stupid, man.
Yeah, it's not at all in the same ballpark, but even in like the fraternity system in college, like it was the same way with hazing, and I was like, why? And then we're all supposed to be friends after that, like a week later.
I hear you.
I don't really get it. Like, what the fuck are we trying to prove with this?
Yeah, we say in Recon, shame retains, and it's not pain because we're all tough enough to take pain. Shame. You get called out and humiliated for your lack of discipline, or you've missed attention to detail. You will never forget that lesson. And looking back years later, we thank our team leaders or freaking platoon sergeant for setting that up so that we could learn. We thank them years, decades later, and say, thank you for caring enough about me to really smash me in the face with either my own lack of attention or lack of character so that I could grow.
Yeah.
Something that's huge about you that I find extremely fascinating is that you were able to hold on during this long gaps of success.
Yeah,
Generation Kill was fucking massive, right?
Yeah.
So everybody watched it, and by everybody's opinion, at least everybody that's come on the show,
they love it, don't they?
Yes,
they love it
to this day,
because
dude.
The authenticity.
Yes, and they bring up Generation Kill, and then massive hit and everything else, and then how long ago was that between this?
It was 2010.
Yes, I mean you're looking at 12 years.
Yeah.
2008.
Oh shit,
Generation
2008.
Kill. I was in college. Yep.
Almost 15 years, almost. Well, overnight success.
It's
15
never overnight.
years in the making,
Yeah.
or overnight success. And to be honest, really, probably, I started doing athletics when I was 7 or 8 years old. So it took from then to get to where I'm at now. And it has been a fight, and it's been wonderful, and it's been heartbreaking, and it's been absolutely lonely. And for the audience that doesn't know out there, I was put away in a mental institution for veterans for a whole year.
What year was that?
That was 2012. After Generation Kill, remember, we were all in such heavy combat cycles then. I didn't even know what was going on with me. I thought if I continue to work and succeed and compete to succeed, that will cure what is happening inside of me. I was incredibly depressed. I had a disillusioned vision of the entire world and the human experience. I was a very good recon Marine, and I mean that in my character. I did some pretty hoo-yah stuff. I did some Brad stuff or whatever. But what I'm saying is I did the right thing. When I kidnapped people, I didn't torture them. However, the other side of that is that I took them to Abu Ghraib. When I killed people, I killed them when I absolutely had checked off my checklist, because I'm a scout sniper too. They don't even know I'm there sometimes. In the invasion, maybe 2 weeks in, we had tanks dug in, and we chopped our way through the tanks. The tanks weren't going anywhere, but they were firing into our position. We freaking swung them heavy guns and fire maneuver and smashed them. And there was a few guys that lived. There was an old Iraqi man, a soldier, that was just firing at me, but he was an older man, kind of slovenly and very frightened. Big mustache, curly hair, kind of hair was receding, big eyes, and somebody handed him off to me. And the man was so fucking scared, you know? And my hate, or no, my aggression to the enemy, I didn't have hate yet. I had hate in Fallujah. Turned off. I brought him, got him inside of our truck. We freaking zip tied him. And then I made sure 2 young recon guys got him some food and some water. And I had no ill will. That's the kind of person I was. By my 3rd tour, and the savagery and the fucking hurt of everyone, and my guys too. We lost our captain. My best friend Eddie lost both his arms. So, and then we find out a few years later that none of it freaking matters, and nobody even cares about Iraq. And it was and people were making tons of money, except I am having psychological and emotional problems and spiritual problems. That worldview. It consumed me. So I did some media here or there. I went back to work in contracting. I worked for State Department, was doing some pretty rad stuff. None of it mattered because my emotional and spiritual worldview was dark, and I hated myself for it. I thought it was my fault. I am not strong enough. I am too weak, and I'm not smart enough, and I mean nothing, but I'll just show off to everybody that I can do a movie or a TV show here, or go run some counterterror in Africa here, and I can work out and be the best athlete. Maybe I'll just show off to the people out there so they think I'm okay, but I was not okay. It wasn't until I started Force Blue. It wasn't until I brought my bros together to use our combat knife skills and our team skills, and the fact that we love each other because we respect each other, and then using that to rebuild coral reefs and do ocean conservation. I had a really bad, you guys remember, I had a really bad drug problem for a while, a really bad alcohol and drug problem for a while. I lost the ability to see my son and my family, everyone outside of the warrior, off the chain, full tilt boogie community. Everyone else in my life could not be around me. Incredibly sobering and humbling. And when I created Force Blue and we started bringing brothers together and working in the water and seeing the gorgeousness of God's nature and little animals that you love, and and then a few years after that I meet Jade, and then I'm getting myself together, and now I get to see my son. I can't say his name because his mom and stuff's really private, but he plays hockey, brother, and he's a freaking stud. He's got a big head of hair. It's all coming back, brother. That's why it took so long.
Gotcha. What was it like that year in that mental institution?
Oh, so hard. Oh, brothers. So I was one of 130 cats there. Only 3 of us had been to combat. Only one of us was a fucking warrior, and that was me. Everybody else were drug addicts and thieves in and out of prison. And through this President Obama gig at the time, that if you had even showed up for boot camp, not even completed boot camp, you rated to go to this psychotherapy freaking mental institution if you claim PTSD. So I was in there with horrible criminals, hearing stories. I thought about my mistakes in my life, which seemed insurmountable. And I'm on there with this. There's this transvestite sailor who was such a methamphetamine addict that he's talking about his grandmother who's in hospice care and him sneaking in to see her only to get to her wallet. And I'm so humbled that and ashamed that I used to be a reconnaissance Marine team leader, 300 men of 300,000, and I am in with the worst criminals and the dirtiest people, and the instructors there, or the freaking zookeepers, there humiliate you. You have to ask permission for everything. It's like being in receiving in boot camp, and I fucking cry at night thinking what happened to me. However, though, I said I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to run away, because I thought about running away, escaping. I said I'm going to see it through. All that therapy, I had to do 8 hours of therapy a day and all this stuff.
Holy shit.
Every kind of anonymous there, the NA, the AA, the vegan VA, all the AAs. Nothing gave me better therapy than keeping my physical health and fitness, doing Force Blue, and having a great job in which my experience matters. So that's why I'm doing so good now.
And looking back on it, was it a positive or a negative in your life that you were there?
I think it was necessary. How about that?
Okay.
I think it was necessary. I think everything was necessary to get me here. I'm very blessed. I am also extremely, extremely realistic about that. I've got about another 50 years on the planet, which is not long, because this first 51 went by like that. I guess it's stacked with a lot of stuff, but it went by like that. And I want to make sure every freaking day I have counts now.
Yeah. And it's interesting to see it pop up here and there and all this stuff, because I think when you were going through some of those problems, obviously we knew you.
Yeah,
and,
I remember there was a couple times when I was not well, brothers, and I could see it on your faces, when you were humble enough and gracious enough to not freaking air a program where I was freaking falling apart. But we had a couple of good programs too. Thank you guys for doing that.
Of course.
I appreciate it very much, Dan. I appreciate it, Ross.
We don't want to see any of our friends struggling, and there's no reason to put that out to the world. You know what I'm saying? Like, and we're not a gotcha show where it's like,
brother.
Hey, look at this guy who's all fucked up. Remember him? He used to be awesome. Now he's a piece of shit. Like, we don't do that. So it was like, hey, dude, we'll scratch it. We don't really give a shit. But with that, the change in you is night and day. And going back to your work in the ocean, I'll never forget, again, because my wife loves you.
I love her too, brother.
We woke up. It was a Sunday morning. We were watching whatever the CBS programming was, and there was a special about you in the middle of the ocean on this boat. And I was like, holy shit, it's Rudy Reyes. And I was like, I thought he was going to die. At the time, I was like,
I know.
I thought you were going to die.
Sure, brother.
And then all of a sudden you pop up and you're on TV a couple years later, bright, happy, excited about life. And I was like, that's the Rudy I know.
Thank you, brother.
And it's awesome.
Thank you, brother.
How'd you get involved in that?
Well, a dear bro that I worked on a film with saw me walking down the street in New York City, and I was not well. I might have even been homeless, and he said, "Rudy, man, you're not looking so good." I'm like, "Oh, I'm fine." He says, "I'm going to Cayman Islands for my father-daughter trip. My daughter just graduated high school. You should really come with me." I was like, "Well, dog, I don't have any money. I don't have a job or anything like that." He made it happen. He brought me to Cayman Islands. I totally crashed his freaking father-daughter trip. Jim Ritteroff is his name. After 3 days of being in the ocean and working out and being in the sunshine and being around the majesty of God's creatures, I was just buoyant again. And then 3 or 4 days later, we were watching the Manny Pacquiao fight. I think he was fighting. Who was he fighting?
Mayweather?
Yeah, he might have been fighting Mayweather. And we were watching it. And then Jim says to me, "Well, Rudy, I'm so glad you got to be out here in the Caymans for these reefs because they're going away." I said, "What?" It stoked something in me. The reason why I joined the Marine Corps is because I saw a documentary about orphans in Kosovo, and then the next week, we're going to Kosovo to fight. And I said, I'm not going to let those kids freaking get massacred. I'm going to go fight for those kids. So when he told me that all these beautiful animals are going to be destroyed because the coral reefs are being destroyed by the cruise line industry and all of this, I said, no freaking way. I'm going to do something about it. And he was like, well, you can. I'm like, man, you know what? I'm going to get my freaking Recon dudes and my freaking frog brothers together. We're going to freaking mine up these freaking, we're going to blow up that shit. I said, and he's like, hey, pump the brakes. Well, man. And I said, well, we got to do something, Jim. And then we started mulling it over. And
I like that you went to terrorism first.
Well, you know, it was still that early days.
Yeah.
It was early days. So I called Roger Sparks, Recon Daddy and highest decorated pararescueman. I called Jeff Reeves, a handsome ass tall SEAL. Called Will Hinkson. Called some brothers together. Said, let's do an experimental course. We're going to get the best in technical and science diving to teach us these new ways to utilize our skills to rebuild reefs or to treat them with antibiotics or replant reefs. And so we created a class all on donation. Everybody donated their time. There was no money. We created a 501(c)(3). NFL got involved. Pepsi got involved. The rest is history.
It was massive, man. And again, CBS did a massive story on it. I was like,
cool, huh?
Sunday morning, I was like, oh shit, there's Rudy.
Pretty cool, brother. And now
awesome.
we have it. Now we have it open to all veterans through Voc Rehab. I mean, so I've spent a lot of time in Washington D.C. Voc Rehab. You can go to the VA, and with the Voc Rehab, you can get your advanced open water diving that they pay for and pay you a stipend to do it. Then you come to us and do on-the-job training, and then you're a Dominus Ominous Force Blue Team diver, and we pay our men and women to do the work because it's very intense work. We take care of your travel, your per diems, your billeting, and then you get paid daily. Isn't it rad?
Mm-hmm.
That's how we do it, brother.
That's awesome.
ForceBlueTeam.org. ForceBlueTeam.org. Get involved.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking back at all of it, your entire career so far.
Yeah, it's just begun, right? Wow.
It has, because this thing that you're on now,
I know,
is about to explode into ways that's you'll probably be so exhausted at the end of it. Yeah. You'll look back and you'll be like, oh, hey, dude, I'm 61. Shit.
Yeah, brother.
It's already been 10 years.
Yeah,
that's what I believe. Just with the format and everything and where they're going to send you.
Yeah.
What do you love more? Because you loved being in war.
I did.
Would you trade all of this to go back?
Depends on the war. If it's a war worth fighting.
I think the war I'm fighting now is more important.
Definitely than the wars we fought. They were fucking meaningless.
I think this war now, how do we empower people by taking the hard road? How do people get inspired to develop character through arduous challenges, having the courage to take a challenge? How do we remind our brothers and sisters that have held a rifle that they're not alone? I lost a dear brother, and I've never spoken about it publicly because I love him so much. I still can't believe he's gone. I can't believe he's gone. His name is Neil Curry.
Yeah, we know Neil.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and I was in Vietnam when he died, and the man was a beautiful man in every way, and a warrior and a family man, and that this beautiful American and warrior could slip through our fingers. And what did I not do for him to give me a text so I could remind him? I think this war, the war for us to post-traumatic stress growth and for warrior transition and for us to become warrior citizens. I think that's the most important war for me to fight now. There's tougher, younger guys now that can do the door kicking and the halo stuff and the combat dive sub inserts. Young, tough, strong guys. And if they need me, I'll always be there. But I think the war for our country's heart and soul is more important right now.
Well, this is the point in the show we get to the Drinkin' Bro of the Week, which is someone who has inspires you or helps you become the person you are today. Who would you like to give the Drinkin' Bro of the Week to?
God, I got a freaking stacked crew, brother. You know what? I would love for you to have him on the show sometime.
Sure.
It's Roger Sparks. He has a son who is special needs, and he is also with Force Blue. And on top of being the greatest family man and esoteric, very famous tattoo artist now, highest decorated pararescueman of all time, Operation Bulldog Bite, talk about mercy, love, and grace, and transforming pain, suffering, and sacrifice into something truly beautiful. So it's to you, Roger Sparks. I love you, big frog.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Well, tell everybody where they can find you, because we love following you on Instagram
Thanks.
and all your journey. I mean, it's just you're in so many different fucking places doing so much crazy shit. You're one of the best follows on Instagram. Tell everybody where they can find you.
Thanks. Real Rudy Reyes. Real Rudy Reyes on Instagram.
Yeah, I thought it was a football club at first. Because of the Real.
Real
But it
Madrid.
didn't have the accent mark.
Yeah, brother. Well, you know, I'm spicy. I'm Mexican-American. I've got a website, rudyreyes.com, so all you people that want me to work on your films and military advice and or speak, you can find me there. No, I don't do Twitter and all the other things, only because there's a lot of people speaking, but there's but not enough people listening. Your program is one of the few podcasts that is intelligent, fun, insightful, and real community based. So just get me on the Instagram, or just freaking, just tune in to Hulu or Fox or Channel 4 or BBC. I'm easy to find. How wild, you can just Google your name, Rudy Reyes, which is a pretty common Mexican-American name. And I'm the first guy up there.
You're the first guy. Yeah. Now. You know?
Yeah, brother.
Maybe in the future there'll be some boxer that finally
Maybe
shows
so.
the fuck up, dude.
I don't know, brother. I'm a freaking tough act to follow.
Well, you can follow him on Instagram and all of his journeys on Fox and BBC and all that stuff. Rudy Reyes, always a pleasure to have you on the show. Thanks for being here. We appreciate it. For D'Anthony Holloway, Rudy Reyes, I'm Ross Patterson. This is the Drinkin' Bros Podcast. Good night, everyone.